Amazing how that works, isn't it?
Did we miss anything?
Amazing, yeah. We play better without you guys. So don't take it personal. But yeah, it's been obviously a great couple of weeks. Guys are playing really well. Tremendous confidence, and thought we really executed well against Duke. Know we're going to have our hands full with NC State. They played very well last night in their win, and you know, got C.J. Bryce back, who's an outstanding player, and you know, will make a difference for them. So we're going to have to continue our great play. Our guys, I think, will be excited about the opportunity and the challenge that they present.
Do you like playing a team this close to the last game against them within a few weeks?
Yeah.
I know they get Bryce back, or would you rather have a little bit of distance between it?
It probably doesn't matter. You know, it's no advantage either way. Both teams familiar with each other, and you know, it's a little bit different just because we don't do it that often. But I guess now with this, you know, new 20-game schedule, we're going to play a couple more teams twice, so it'll probably happen a little more frequently. But I don't think it really has a bearing on anything.
Coach, have you had a chance to reflect in the past 24 hours just how magical the Tobacco Road trifecta in order to pass Cliff Ellis for most wins at Clemson?
Yeah, not a lot of reflecting, no, but certainly, you know, humbled and honored to have won as many games as we've won. I've coached a lot of really good players and had some great help with tremendous assistant coaches. You know, just proud of being able to be here this long and battle in this league and you know, have some success and certainly want more than what we've had. But you know, I've talked openly about how much I love being at Clemson and how comfortable my family is here, and girls going to school here, and I really enjoy this place. I love working for my administrators. You know, they're very supportive and I think like what we're doing, and you know, I love the culture that Clemson provides. The atmosphere, it's a great place to live and work, and you know, the challenge of competing in this league is one that is about as good as you're going to get in this sport. So put that all together, and you know, I'm just very humbled and honored to be coaching here still, and just hope to kind of build on what we've been able to do here the last couple of weeks and last couple of years.
Last time we talked to you, you know, that was the NC State game, I guess, and there was a lot of talk about how you handled adversity and some of the struggles. Well, now how have you handled the success of these last 3 games?
You know, just the one thing I'd say about our guys have been great the whole year, even when we weren't playing as well. I kept telling you guys, like, hey man, our guys are competing hard. We're coming to practice wanting to be coached and, you know, just trying to get better. And as a coaching staff, we're trying to figure out the best way to work with this team. You know, there were a couple things that we were doing in Italy that probably didn't translate as well to the college game. And so we've made a couple of adjustments, and, you know, maybe that's going to help our team a little bit. I think having Clyde back has helped our team. Just, you know, another older player that's been through difficult games, end of games, and I think, you know, while his numbers aren't inspiring in terms of like scoring a bunch of points and doing all these great things, he's made a lot of really good, simple plays, pocket passes to Amir. You know, like when North Carolina did the run and jump, you know, Clyde just bounced his dribble over, drew 2, pocket pass to Amir, he goes and lays it in. You know, he executed the pass to Amir right on time, right on target for the 3-point shot to send it to overtime. He had a great pocket pass to Amir for a layup with about 2.5, 3 minutes to go yesterday. He's made a lot of really simple, good plays, winning plays that we've kind of needed. And it's settled our team down a little bit. It's been good. And, you know, we've made a couple of adjustments to help our guys. Our guys have gained some confidence. We were playing. There's some games that we played very well in. Colorado and Miami, I think, are both 2 games where we played well and really probably controlled both games and let them get away from us. So it's not like I ever didn't think this team couldn't be good or couldn't play at a good level and beat some good teams. I thought we could. We just had to figure out, some better ways to help them be successful, and then we had to do it a few times to gain some confidence. So, we still have a slim margin, compared to some teams. We don't have tremendous size. We don't have some electric speed point guard that can just break teams down and create baskets easily for his team, for himself or other guys. We have to really work and execute. We're a team of execution, and when we execute well, we have a chance to be good. But we also need to shoot the ball well. So I think defensively we fought very well this year so far, even though we're a little undersized. I think we've done a good job competing and fighting on the glass and trying to swarm to the ball, and more times than not we've had pretty good defensive performances. A couple games this year we haven't played quite as well. Certainly second half at Florida State, I didn't think we defended well against Minnesota, and things of that nature. But we're a team that I thought would improve because we have 7 new players, and we need to get guys back. We've started to get guys back again a little bit, so now these last week or so we've been able to practice a little bit better. I think that helps. I think it's just a culmination of a lot of things. As much as anything, is just kind of getting into a rhythm with who who you have, and who you don't have. Sometimes that helps, and then you win a game or two, you build some confidence and hope to build on that momentum.
Coach, when you were winning early in the season, Mac was averaging about 16 points a game, and then he went through kind of a lull when he went through the losing streak. He's been back at the top of the scoring column these last 3 games. What do you think the key's been for him turning around?
A little better mix to his game, not just selling for threes, but driving the ball a little bit. He's even gotten a couple offensive rebound putbacks. He's found other ways to get a basket besides shooting threes, and we talked a little bit about that. He's got to find some other ways. He can't just be a 3-point shooter that gets shots off. And obviously, I think early in the year he probably wasn't scouted as hard, and so maybe he got a few more shots off. Competition maybe not quite as good. Competition improves, guys scout you a little more, get to see your game. You got to start doing some other things. You press a little bit because you want to do well, and shooting's hard that way. Trying hard with shooting it's like putting. Doesn't always go well. So you just got to build your confidence in other ways, and sometimes you need to see a driving layup go into the basket so you just kind of feel good about yourself. And so I think he's done a better job of that.
Brad, you mentioned some of the things you've done to kind of help the guys out a little bit. It looks like Amir, teams were walking in on him the past 3, 4, 5 games. Maybe you've used the screen game to get things open.
Yeah, we're moving him around as much as we can. And different teams, it's going to be more problematic for them than others. It just kind of depends on certain games. He's against bigger guys. That's hard if you're not as mobile, because he's a mobile big man, and he's one of those guys that can do some things around the basket. But he can also shoot a 3, and he can drive it a little bit. So we've even over in Italy, we talked this summer and fall about how we were going to play through Amir a lot, and we really have always done it, even when we weren't as successful earlier in the year. The other thing is I think Amir's just playing better. Like early in the year, he was struggling. I remember one time you guys were asking me about, I don't know what his 3-point percentage, but it was low. They're like, do you guys still want him to shoot threes and all that? And yeah, we want him to shoot threes. He's going to make them. Like, we've seen him make them. He makes them. He just needs to make a couple in games. And once he makes a few, he'll be confident and play better. And then he started making them, and his confidence has grown. And now, he's started to put it kind of all together in some games, and he's played at a very high level. And we need that. It's to beat these kinds of teams, the quality of team that we have in our league. Your best players got to play at a high level. When your best players don't play well, it's hard to win. And he's played at a very high level these last 2 weeks.
Brad, on the young backcourt, speak on their development and also how much Scott has meant to the team as far as bringing those guys along.
Yeah, I think Curran is improving and getting more comfortable and understanding what we're trying to do. And I think he and Hunter have both played well off the bench the last couple of games for sure. Made big shots. Just I thought Curran played very well. He actually drove the ball at the three-quarter press or whatever. We're getting press, and we got it to him twice, and he drove it right in the middle of the lane and kicked it out for threes to Newman and to Amir to break the press. So I think it's little things like that he probably wasn't doing as much of that. He was just kind of, playing, and sometimes he'd shoot shots, sometimes he kind of driving out of control, and just I think he's gotten a little better feel for how we're playing and played a little better, and then got a little more confidence. And so I think he and Hunter Tyson have both played very well the last 2 weeks off the bench for us. I think that's really helped our team. It's, those guys come in and make a shot or score a basket or two. It really gives our guys confidence, and it helps our coaching staff just feel like we can sub more and move more guys in and out and do some different things and play those guys late. And that's what's been great is like sometimes it's Curran Scott out there at the end of games. Hunter Tyson finished the game when Tevin Mack fouled out against North Carolina, and so now you're watching Hunter Tyson, who's a sophomore, hasn't played a ton, but we think he's a good player, and he's playing great down the stretch in the North Carolina game. So guys are improving. Guys are getting better on our team. They're improving from the beginning of the season. Some guys are just developing. John Newman is developing. You're watching it. We've talked about it. And he's not all the way there, but you see flashes of high-level play. And that's exciting, and it just – the hard part about some of this is it just takes time, and we all don't want to wait for it, head coach especially. But, and Al's gotten better. He's gotten better. And having Clyde helps Al because he then is taken out when he makes mistakes more often. And when you get taken out and you have to sit over there and kind of then after the game we can show you on film and make you understand a little bit, you're really apt to listen and learn, as opposed to when you kind of just get to play through all your mistakes, which is kind of what was happening really till Clyde got back. I mean, I used to joke, man, these other guys in the room, the Clyde Traps, the Amir Sims, I mean, almost nobody would get to play the kind of minutes you're playing, making some of the mistakes you're making. Like, they never got to do that. So, we had one point guard. So the kid was out there 30 minutes every game. And that's good in some ways because he's gaining experience that's valuable, but it's also not always good for the wins-loss column of your team when you have to overcome some things. So, he's learning, he's developing. I think he's played pretty well at times, really for a young guy who's been thrown out there sometimes. He's hung in there pretty tough.
A common theme here seems to be Clyde.
I think I just think there's a settling factor with Clyde that has helped our team and given us a little bit of stability, and there's no question that that's been important. And we lost. You guys watched us lose 2 or 3 games at the end with some bonehead plays and just not plays that you should be making to win games. And part of it was taking a bad shot or turning the ball over a couple times. It was really some execution on offense, and that's hard to overcome sometimes. And if you can just kind of get to your stuff and run your stuff and get comfortable, you have a much better chance to win games. And again, I said it earlier, we really have to be a team of great execution. Marquise Reed isn't out there just popping up and knocking in a shot for us kind of really on his own. We can't really do that. So we got to really work at things, and our guys understand that and really are trying. That's what I love about them.
Speaking of the backcourt, Keith likes to press a lot. How do you think you guys will be able to handle that? And also, they only play about 8 players. Do you think that makes for a good matchup for you guys?
I think, 8 players is really standard for a lot of coaches. We guys like one post sub, a wing sub, and a guard sub. And it's kind of like most coaches, that's their preference. Certainly there are some people that play 9 and then a few that play 10 or 11, like Leonard, who's remarkable with how he does it. But so I think they're fine. Obviously, I think getting Bryce back is huge for them. I think he's a very good player and just another added punch to their roster. He's another big 6'5" athlete that knows how to play and is experienced. And I think the experience piece is huge. So I think that's really important.
The ACC is always a wild ride.
Yeah.
But is it shaping up even more so this year just to be crazy? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think our league, if you look at our league, I think there are a lot of teams that have had a lot of injuries. And I don't know everybody's roster and what they've had to deal with, but I can think of 5 or 6 teams right off the bat that have had significant injuries and guys out. And you can withstand it a little bit, but you can't withstand it long term. It's just too much. Like, you just can't. It just hamstrings you as a coach. Like, you don't have enough things that you can't make any changes. You can't affect the game because the guys you want to put in might be a better shooter and he's not available, or somebody like Chase Hunter for us, who's an outstanding defender. Like, he might be our best on-ball defender, and we're playing without him really most of the season right now. Like, it's, and he's a guy who could help us. And obviously Clyde, who's just settles us down, our most mature guy. Like, no, he's not scoring 15 points a game, but like everything runs better with him out there. It's like little. And every school's got guys. Some guys are big scorers. Some guys are, whatever they are. And it's a challenge. And then practices are hard because you can't practice. Like, we're going to have a big, strong, long practice today, which we probably haven't had one of these in at least, a couple weeks, like really good one, and get after each other a little bit. And so I think the injuries is hard for the league right now. And then I think the other thing is we look back at last year and there were 3 number 1 seeds. So it was extremely loaded. And again, I thought it was deep. I thought we were very good. NC State was very good. Neither one of us made the tournament, which I don't know if I agree with that, but they didn't. We didn't. So.
Frank got a big win last
Yeah.
night down in Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a couple here in a row. Kind of good to get some spotlight on basketball in the Palmetto State.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a terrific win last couple games, and you knock off Duke, who's, top 3 team, and they knock off Kentucky. I think we both feel like we have good programs and good players, and there are times, in November and December, people don't see that as much, and we both understand that we have to win games like that to help generate interest. I mean, that's part of our job too, is to be part of the solution and to have good teams so people get excited about basketball. And I think both programs are very competitive, like hard to play against. I think there's a lot of teams in the leagues that we both play in that would tell you that it's not that enjoyable to play against us. We really, our kids play hard, our kids compete, they're organized, they fight, and when things go well and you're playing well, you can beat anybody in the country. And I think that's part of what we've showed here this week. So, yeah, congrats to Frank and their program for an outstanding win.
Coach, your free throw shooting was phenomenal against NC State a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Missed a few down the stretch in Chapel Hill, and then 11 for 22 against Duke. Is that inconsistency a concern at all?
Yeah, I mean, you need to make free throws most of the time to win games at the end of close games, and we've been a little inconsistent at times, but we practice them. So, I've got confidence our players are, going to knock them down, but you just, all you can do as a coach is try to practice, work on them, set up a few situations, but any situation you set up is not going to be truly like a game. So guys are going to have to man up and make them.
After the last 2 big wins for you guys with Duke and North Carolina, how do you keep your team focused on moving forward in the season? Because it's awfully early, and those are 2 big wins that can almost be celebrated in a big way.
I think our coaching staff did a really good job after the North Carolina win of making sure our guys were not just excited to play, because they were going to be excited to play Duke, but I think emotionally ready to play. We probably did less physical work in between those 2 games than we've done almost all season. We did a lot of mental work. We did a little bit of work on the court. I don't want to act like we didn't do anything, because we did, but there was very little contact, very little banging. It was a lot of just making sure guys understood what we needed to do to get done to win the game, our plan, and just getting in and out as quickly as possible so that when we did get to game day against Duke, that our guys would be fresh and excited and feel like they had energy and juice to be able to play well for the full 40 minutes that we thought it would take. And that's kind of the same now. I think You know, we had a day off yesterday, and so that was good for guys to get away and just kind of enjoy themselves and clear their heads a little bit. And then we met this morning at 7:30 and watched film of our game against Duke, so we could, you know, put 35 minutes of film together and really just see, all right, here are the things we still need to do better, and here's some things we did really well that translate. And now this afternoon, it's, you know, we're going to watch film on NC State and, you know, get after it for 2 hours with a good practice. So I think our guys are excited to play, and you know, as a staff, we've done a good job here in the last 72 hours of keeping our guys in a good place and trying to hope that their focus is where it should be.
I don't know the exact numbers, but it seems like you've done a better job of minimizing turnovers during this recent stretch.
Yeah, we had some the other night, but before that, we've done a little bit better. You know, and I think that's important. It'll be very important against NC State because they're going to come after you and be aggressive. And playing on the road, you're always a little more susceptible to the emotion of the crowd, and that's a big part of execution.
Any injury or health updates at all?
Not really. Hemingway he's just about all the way back now, so he's been working his way, and Kayvon is pretty much back too. So those guys are really the only ones, and we're still kind of figuring out Chase kind of week to week. You know, he's doing a little bit more here every week, but until he feels like he can really get out there and play and be as pain-free as possible, then, you know, we're kind of waiting on him.
You expect Alex to play at all on Saturday?
Possibly, yeah. He could play. All those guys are available now. We're back up to really 10 bodies this week.
If you can talk a little bit about Amir Sims and him embracing kind of the leadership role on this team, he's done a pretty good job.
Well, I think he's prepared for it. You know, that's where I think Italy helped is, you know, I remember we had one of our first meetings and all those seniors were gone and there weren't that many guys left in the room. And, you know, he's the only guy that had been a starter, and consistently Clyde had started a game or two. And so it was really Clyde and Amir that we were kind of leaning on. Jonathan Barry would kind of be the third guy to develop a leadership role on the team. And you know, obviously with the injuries to Bear and Trav, all of a sudden things change quickly, and it's kind of like Amir's really your only guy. You know, Hunter and John and Trey, sophomores, really just kind of weren't, you know, they had enough to worry about with their own games and development. And kind of the same with the two grad transfers, Tevin and Curran, just trying to kind of come in and quickly figure out what we're doing, because they were barely here before we left to Italy. So everybody just kind of leaned on Amir and looked at Amir, and Amir has done a remarkable job. I think he's, you know, I've said that he's, you know, he's made for that.